Welcome to the Enchanted Book Club. It has been a hot minute, close to a year. I don't know what happened. Well, actually, I do. I wanted to give short form content a try, so like TikTok and Instagram, and just give that a shot and just kind of see how I can do in that, in like summarizing books. Because I realized I talk a lot. I didn't realize how much I talked until I tried summarizing books. And I just came to the conclusion, you know what? I don't mind doing a few TikToks here and there, but actually love talking about books and I enjoy talking about books. And sometimes that can take more than 45 minutes. It can be 15, it could be 20, it could be 30 minutes. I don't know. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to come on here and talk and just have fun with it. As you can see, this is different. This is a video podcast as well, not audio 100%. So I'm excited. I'm back. I want to be back into it. I want to like force myself to actually do like an actual podcast, not just sticking to short form content, but also long form content like this, and just chatting about books and just kind of seeing if people engage with it and people enjoy this format. I'm very, very excited about it. So yeah, let's talk. Let's have a lot of fun. So the book that we are starting with is one of my favorite ongoing series right now. It is the Death series. This is by Penelope Barsetti, and anyone that knows that I love Penelope Barsetti, and I also love the other pseudonym Penelope Sky. Both books by both authors amazing. But Penelope Barsetti writes more fantasy romance, paranormal romance, which I do enjoy. I do love that more than I love traditional, conventional, contemporary romance. So I lean more towards Penelope Barsetti, but don't get it twisted. I have read pretty much all books written by both authors. So right now she is writing the Death series, and we are on the third book of the latter half of the third Death series. To explain, right? Death series comprises of 8 books in total. The first 4 is about Talon and Callista, I believe, is his wife. It's about Talon, and the last 4 is set years later with Talon's child as the main person, Lily, Talon's child. So we're in the third book of this latter half, and the book is called Kiss of Death. And very exciting. If you want to see my reviews of the other 2 books of this latter half, it's on TikTok. Go have a look. It's again short form. I think I tried to condense it into a 5-minute review, 5 to 6 minute review, but as I said, I talk a lot. So it's not going to be that way here. But let's have some fun and just kind of chat about these books. Okay, so Kiss of Death. This book literally picks up from where the last book ended, right? Last book, if you remember, Roth, I'm not really sure the pronunciation, either or. Roth got stripped off of his powers as the god of the underworld and by the Covenant because they realized that he was giving her powers without actually having an agreement with her. He was just giving her the powers, whereas there was another person, the leader of the barbarians, that actually wanted an agreement slash a covenant with the god of the underworld, Wrath, to be able to take his powers. And obviously that doesn't fly with them, right? Remember from Talon's time, Talon gave up his soul to have the power to raise up the dead. That was the agreement with him and the previous god of the underworld, Bahamut. So he got stripped of his powers. So Lily no longer had the power to raise the dead, but she still had the strength of a god because the Covenant did not know that Wrath also gave her that power. So she still had that, thankfully. So this actually picks up from there, right? It's been a few days after Covenant stripped Wrath and made him an eater. And Lily is spiraling. Wrath has more or less, ever since they met, Wrath has more or less visited her every single day. Multiple times a day, actually, as well. Even the days that he was mad at her and upset with her and angry with her because she was pushing at him and prodding at him, he still visited her, even in anger. So it's a few days now, and she hasn't seen her. She's spiraling. Like, she's in her mind, she's like, what have I done? They're saying anything, they're doing anything. She's bisecting and dissecting like their conversations, and she's wondering, what did I do? Why isn't he coming? A part of her is like, something must have happened because there's no way he would abandon me. He loves me. And another part of her is like, maybe this is what he's maybe this is what he wanted to do to like make her fall in love with him, to punish her for the things that her dad did, like her father did, Talon did. She's spiraling, she's out of control. And of course he can't make it, and the war is coming. They've seen the barbarians, they've seen their ships, they are coming. And she, as they come closer, it continues to spiral. Like, where is he? He's supposed to, like, I don't want to say he protects her. He backs her up in every single thing that she does. Like, he's the eyes behind her head when it comes to his battles. He can't intervene because he's the god of the underworld. He's not human. God can't intervene in human affairs, but he intervenes he bypasses that by just telling her what she needs to know without actually intervening. But anyway, we move from that. The war comes, and I'm not gonna lie, like, the war, I actually really like that. I really, really like that. I loved and this book literally just jumps us right into it. It's like few pages in, we're already at the war with the barbarians, which I found interesting. I thought we were going to drag it on and on and on, but no, like, we literally, as we start the book, she spirals, or she's spiraling, but we're already at war. The barbarians come. We all know they want to kill Talon, right? Talon is the king. Killing Talon, more or less, even though Lily is the queen right now, because Talon is not dead, but he's sick, is indisposed. But killing Talon would more or less have them own the Southern Isles, and that's not what they want to do. So with their army, and the dragons, they're fighting against barbarians, and they are losing, right? They are absolutely losing, because the barbarians are vampires now, so they are also turning dragons into vampires. That's one thing I wish we emphasized on. How do the vampire dragons look like? What do they do? Are they sucking the bloods of other dragons? How are they? I know apparently they look a little bit different, but how different do they look? What is their behavior as vampire dragons? Because they are newly formed vampires as well. But just because you're a vampire doesn't mean you're bad necessarily. I mean, look at the other vampires that we know of from the other books of Penelope Barsetti, set in the same world. They're not bad. King Snake is not bad. Viper is not bad, right? So how come these vampire dragons are bad and they're fighting against their own dragons? I wish that was explained a little bit more, in my opinion, but we move. I would love to see that. But so the vampires are turning the dragons into vampires. Like, vampire dragons are fighting against dragons. The vampires are fighting against the normal humans. And we know vampires are like 3-4 times stronger than normal humans. So of course they're winning. So it's a bloodbath. But thankfully, Lily still has Roth's strength, Callum's strength. I'll talk about that in a second. But she still has Callum's strength. She's fighting against like all the vampire. Like, it's actually quite an intense scene, and I was reading this and I was at the edge of my seat. Just kind of waiting to see how she deals with it. Like, what happened with this. It's very interesting. And then she finds out, her brother tells her. Her brother also, like, he's here. I love that their relationship has grown all throughout these books. When we first started, they were not on the best of terms, for reasons that I've explained again in those other 2 books. I don't want to rehash those. But they're quite close here. They're closer here. I loved seeing them work in tandem. I love seeing them work together to solve this problem, and in an antagonizing way. Like, they worked in cohesion, which was great. Anyway, she and the leader of the barbarians end up meeting on the battlefield, and they're like fighting, and then she's told by one of the dragons, by Talon's dragon, I forget his name, that Talon knows that the war is happening, and he just like, you can do it, Lily. And I just give her so much strength. Anyway, she defeats the leader of the barbarians and kills him, and they survive by luck, because in the middle of that, Viper and his vampires come, and now it's vampires against humans, and of course that helped them a lot. If Viper didn't show up, they would have been defeated. Like, vampires coming to their rescue totally helped them. But anyway, they defeat the barbarians, which was great. It was a very sad / happy moment, right? Because a lot of humans died, a lot of people died. So this was now a time for them to gather themselves together, rebuild again. But Talon was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. They needed more dragons to actually make him healthy. They needed more dragons to hold him, and they had to let go of some dragons, right? during the war because they were being overwhelmed by the vampire dragons. So anyway, um, after the war, after they kind of calmed down, washed up. So after the war, after they've all washed up and they're all clean, and of course, Calista is like super, super happy that her children are alive. I don't blame the poor woman. After all of that, Viper now tells Lily that he thinks he's found where that platinum can be found, where his brother Aurelius lives. It's from one of the other series written by Penelope Barsetti, that where Aurelius lives, he remembers seeing that kind of metal, but he's not sure. But Aurelius lives super, super far away, and that he wants, like, let's go see if this is the metal, right? So they pack up their shit and then they go. They go. It's very far. Of course, her mom is like, "Are you sure you want to go?" Her brother as well is like, "Are you sure? We don't know this person." But like, he came from very far away to support us. Like, he must have left literally as soon as we left. He must have packed up his army and brought them to our aid. So I trust him. That's Lily's thought, right? Like, I trust him. And she knew that there was a thing as well. Like, he had feelings for her, and it's partly because of his feelings for her that he showed up as well. But that's something that we will visit in a second. So they pack up and they start traveling by dragon's back to where Aurelius lives to get the platinum. On the way, Viper and Lily then have the conversation of Viper and Lily have that conversation. Viper saying that I love you. Of course, that's the reason why I came. I'm not forcing this on you. I'm not forcing it on you at all. But I love you. That's why I'm here. And that's why I came to help. Well, that's part of the reason why I came to help. And Lily, of course, is like, well, I appreciate you coming to help, but I love somebody else and my heart is taken. And Viper he kept harping on, okay, so if this person that loves you so much, where is he? Where is he? Like, why wasn't he there at the war? Why wasn't he there supporting you? Like, he kept harping on and Lily just like, he's the god of the underworld. God of the world. And then Viper was like, what happened? And she kind of tells the story of how they met and all of that. But I think this is one of the things that started to really like mess up with Lily. Was everyone, like, Viper then now started saying, you can't trust the god of the underworld. He's the god of the underworld. He's a demon. Why are you trusting a demon? Like, look at me. I am here. I came to help you. I came to support you. I am showing you how much I love you. I'm showing you how much I'm here for you. And you are pining over somebody that didn't even show up for you, that wasn't even here when you 100% needed them to be. Like, all of those... Lily's spiral was on pause during the war, in terms of like during the fight. It was on pause because she had to focus so she could win the war. But after the war, the spiral continued, and Viper's thoughts, or Viper's saying all these things, did not help the spiral at all. Like, she just kept spiraling. Like, what if is? But at the same time, she's like, I don't care what you say. I love him. And Viper's thing as well was, there's no future. He's the god of the underworld. Like, you can't marry him. You can't have kids with him. He's not human. He's a demon. Like, are you serious? Oof, it was a whole thing. It was absolutely a whole thing. But anyway, they find the platinum. They get to Aurelius' place. Had it in, like, that was actually the metal that his soldiers used to fight. Like, that was what their sword, the metal their sword was made from, was platinum. Like, they had it in abundance, which is crazy. But anyway, they find the platinum and then they return back to the Southern Isles, and they melted it, and of course they melted it on into his body, and then slowly they started to realize, the dragons that were helping us to realize, is using more power, is using more energy from us. That means he's actually healing. And a few days after, he woke up, like, his eyes opened and he woke up, and the scene of Callista breaking down when Talon's eyes open. Like, Talon's eyes open and he just turned, like, his body just turned towards Callista immediately. That was the first face that he was looking for and that he saw. And the scene of her breaking, I actually cried. I didn't cry, but tears formed in my eyes, that scene. Because again, if you read the first 4 books, you know Talon and Callista's story, you know their journey, you know everything that they'd been through. And I don't know, I just felt very emotional just listening to Talon, and I just listening to Callista just cry. that he's alive. Like she has been a shell of herself ever since Talon was indisposed by that metal, that gold that the barbarians used to pierce him. And I don't know. It was such a beautiful scene. Just that emotion that Callista felt, and Penelope Bassetti was. I thought she showed that emotion, that talent so well, and actually makes me want to go back and read it, read the first four again, just because of that scene. Like, it was really sweet. But anyway, they're breaking down, and then yes, after that, his kids, his babies, and he's reunited with his son and his daughter and Lily, and he's like telling her how proud he is of her, that she did all of this herself, that she's a strong woman and that she did all of this herself. And like, I made the right choice, of course, like, you're my daughter, all of that stuff. And I think she also felt that pride, and she also felt that like weight lifted off her shoulders. Like, in her mind, if you remember, she didn't want to be queen to begin with. That was not what she wanted. And she had to be queen because Talon was indisposed. And she's like, I think her dad being proud of her for everything that she'd been through was amazing. I think, to her or for her, it was great for her, which I really liked. But yeah, anyway, that's by the by. Once like a couple of days go by, I believe, where Talon is like healing, but then he wants to find, he's like asking questions, right? What happened when I got pierced by the gold and I pretty much went into a deep coma? Like, what's happened? Of course, Callista and everyone told him Lily raised the dead, and that was how we're able to draw back the barbarians, and kind of tell him everything that's happened since then. Shit hit the fan because Talon knew exactly what that meant. That meant that she'd made some sort of deal with the god of the underworld. That's what he thought. Of course, Wrath gave her those powers for free, but Talon's experience in Bahamut, right? He knows what that experience was. He knows what happened there. And he had explicitly warned Lily not to go to that island. Don't go near that island. So he was upset. He was mad. He was crazy with anger. But anyway, he finds that out. He calls Lily, and I'm not gonna lie, this scene of the back and forth scene with Talon and Lily, when Talon was more or less saying, how can I trust someone that is not trustworthy? Like, how can I trust someone that is more or less stupid? He more or less called her stupid. I can't remember if he said the exact word stupid. He might not have. But he might have just called her stupid indirectly. Because to him, it's like, this is the god of the underworld. I don't know what kind of relationship you think you have with him. You don't have that relationship with him. And that scene was actually kind of sad because Talon is stubborn. Talon is stubborn. He is so stubborn. And I understand why he thinks the way he thinks, but Bahamut put him through hell and back. Like, he went through a lot with Bahamut, of course, right? We all know that from the first form. And he just couldn't seem to understand that Bahamut and Wrath are two different. Yes, they are god of the underworld, but they're two different beings. Wrath was put into that position just by, not necessarily by happenstance, but there was no other person. He was just an obedient person. He didn't really relish in the evil of the underworld or anything like that. That just happened to be who he was. I don't know, like, that scene for me was a very, very sad scene because I found myself listening to Wrath and Lily just go back and forth, and me wanting Wrath to understand and just like almost shut up and listen to your daughter. Yes, you've been through certain experiences with the god of the underworld, but this is your daughter. She's been through so much. Yes, she's emotional about her feelings for him, but at the same time, you've said how smart she is, how proud of you she is. Like, can't you listen to her and just kind of take her views into consideration, even if her view is wrong, but still take her view into consideration? He just more or less blew her off and just told her, no, you're wrong, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, he's evil and he's just playing you. And he just and I forgot to say, even before this, right, she had gone to the island, to that island, and she found that Raph was no longer the god of the underworld. She found that he has been promoted to an eater rather. And so she knew that this is not what he wanted, number one, and number two, she knew that he didn't abandon her there's actually a good reason why he couldn't show up, and she now wants to save him. So the conversation with her dad as well was like, I want to go and save him. I want to save him, and I want you, my dad. You are my father. Like, I trust you. I love you. You're supposed to help me. You're supposed to support me. I want you to come and help me save him. And her dad just, Alan is stubborn. That's all I can say. He's stubborn. And I felt really bad for Lily in these two scenes. I felt really bad for her. I just, my brain and my thought was like, poor Lily. I understand Talon. Of course I understand Talon, because I know what he went through. But at the same time, he's blinded by what he went through, and he's not willing to listen to another person's perspective or listen to another person's view, another person's relationship with the God of the underworld. He's just taking his view and his story as, this is fact, this is what it is, nothing can change my view of this, and not willing to listen, which I just thought was horrible and sad. Yeah. Anyway, so she then takes off to find a way to save Wrath, right? She tries to make a deal with Leviathan. He says no, he wants her soul. Wrath has always said to her that your soul is more precious than anything. No matter what happens, do not give your soul to anybody. He's always said, I do not want you to sacrifice yourself for me. That's always been his main thing with her. He's made his stance very clear, Wrath. He wants to protect her and protect her soul, which I just think is really sweet. He's made his stance very clear. So anyway, she goes to Leviathan, who is like the new god of the underworld. He proposes her soul. Of course, that's not possible. She goes to Riviana, the god of Calum, more or less like, think of it like God and Lucifer. That's kind of like the counterpart, right? So like the pure god, the good god, Riviana. She goes to her because she's the one that helped them last time when Talon was in the underworld. She opened up a split in time, or a rip, where they could go and get Talon. So she went back to Riviana to ask Riviana, like, can you repeat that? And Riviana was like, no, like last time we escaped, we it was close. And now the Covenant know that this is possible and that she's done it before. They could definitely have their forces come onto Earth and destroy the entire world. And I think, again, Wrath has always said, I'm not worth it. He's worth it, but at the same time, he's just like, not for the world. He's made his stance very clear. Anyway, Riviana says no. However, Riviana does something interesting. She then goes to see Wrath on the backside, right? On the other side. And she then talks to him that, look, Lily is trying to find a way to save you. What do you want? Because if you want, although I said to her no, but if you want, your soul is too pure, you're too good a person for me to leave you here to suffer to the end. So what do you want? Do you want me to save you? If you want me to save you, I would do everything in my power to do that. And I think Wrath / Callum just in his mind was like, not in his mind, actually told Riviana that no, like I want her to marry someone. I want her to have kids. I want her to live her best life, and she cannot live her best life with me as a god of the underworld. Like, no, it's not possible. Plus, remember from the other books, Callum / Wrath kind of helped the barbarians a little bit. He kind of helped them. It was through him that they became vampires. No one knows that. Lily doesn't know that. So because of that, he's like, I've lied to her a little bit. Not that I necessarily lied to her, but I have omitted some stuff to her. She doesn't know that, and is like, I'm not worth it. I just want to, I think to him, and what he said actually is like, she's the best thing that's ever happened to me throughout my entire life. And she's the best thing that's ever happened to me throughout my entire life. And all I want is just for her to be happy. Like, she's brought life to me when I didn't think I had any life to, when I thought I didn't have any love or life to live. And I just want her to be happy. I want her to live her best life, and I don't want her to have to worry about me. Like, just move on, right? So Riviana was like, I mean, okay, like what can she do? He said, no, don't worry, don't save me. And so she lets go, and she's like, okay, no worries. Or she, of course, Riviana and Wrath then tells Riviana to tell Lily that as well, right? That don't tell Lily that, do not risk anything to save me. He doesn't want her to forfeit her soul, even if it's for nothing, just to save him. Then Lily does the absolute most selfish thing ever. Now, I understand you wanting to save the person that you love and turning the world upside down to save the person that you love. I totally get that. But she then does the most selfish thing ever. She then thinks to herself, well, my dad will want to save me and will turn the world upside down to save me. So all I have to do is what pretty much opposite of what Wrath said. That is, don't sacrifice yourself for me. They want your soul in another world. Do not accept that deal. And then she goes to Leviathan and accepts that deal. So she exchanges her soul for Wrath. So she dies. And the reason why I call this selfish, is she knows that Talon lost his first daughter. And if she didn't know that, then I'd have been lenient. And I'd be like, she didn't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't know the kind of hurt that would bring. But she knows he did. She knows the pain and heartbreak that brought to Talon. Wrath showed her. So for her to make that decision to kill herself, even if she knows it's short, even though she knows that it's short term, right? It's just for a short time because she knows her dad will save her. I just thought that was so selfish because she did not think of what her dad. Don't get me wrong. Yes, Talon was stubborn. It was this, it was that, but no one, Talon or Callista, did not deserve to mourn their firstborn child like their firstborn child had actually died. Because that's exactly what happened. When she exchanged her soul and she had died, of course, Wrath knew immediately that this is what she did and this is why she did it. The dragon that took her, one of her best friends, the dragon, I forget his name, takes her back to the Southern Isle. And what do you think happened? This is another scene where I actually almost cried as well. Talon mourning for the death, mourning because his daughter was dead, mourning because his daughter, like, I'm sorry, like, that was so selfish of her to do. She did not think of anyone but herself in that scenario. Callista and Talon, they did not deserve that. No matter what, they did not deserve that. Anyway, she does all of that. She does all of that. Of course, Talon did the most in trying to get that. Riviana, when he and Wrath go and visit Riviana, of course he hates Wrath because you are the reason that my daughter is dead. And Wrath was very much, look, I understand that. Wrath was even more forgiving than I would, to be honest, because everyone just kind of hated him on sight for no reason. They went to see Viper hated him on sight. When I was like, what have I done? Yes, the whole vampire thing, but they don't know that. So they hated him for no reason. I felt really bad for Wrath in the last, I think, quarter of the book when Lily had died, because everyone blamed him. Everybody blamed him. Wrath was so angry at him. And sorry, not Wrath. Talon was so angry at him. And Wrath was like, look, I understand that you don't like me, and that's fine. You are her father. I understand that, but I want to save her. I want to bring her back. So can you just put aside your hatred for me and let's find a solution to save her? Literally, let's find a solution to save her. That was more or less his thing. He even told Wrath his story, right, of what happened to him and how he became the god of the underworld, how he found himself in the underworld. And Wrath's story was sad. It's a very sad story. And then they had to go see Viper because they had a solution, finding a way to the underworld to save Lily. They went to see Viper, and Viper had already told Talon that he wants to marry Lily, like he's in love with Lily. So Talon already kind of knows Viper's feelings towards Lily. Wrath knows Viper's feelings towards Lily, and Wrath did not care. It's like, I just want to save her. I don't care if I just don't care. Let's save her. Right, and that's kind of how it ends. It ends with using Viper to try and pretend like they want to make a deal with Leviathan to save Lily, and then Wrath then sneaks into the underworld and finds Lily. That's kind of how it ends. I really love this book. I'm not sure how long I've been talking. I'm not really tracking it, but I really love this. This was an amazing book. This is probably my favorite of the not the entire Death series, but the entire series with Lily. This is actually my favorite, and it's funny because there's absolutely no spice in this, because most of this book was spent with Lily and Wrath separated from each other, right? They were not together. It was more about Lily trying to find a way to save Wrath, and the war, of course, as well, and Talon and Wrath trying to find a way to save Lily. I loved it. I actually really loved it. There was one thing actually that Talon said. I forgot to say this in the beginning, but I'll just say it now before I round up. When Lily was trying to convince her dad to save Wrath, and she was saying, like, without Wrath, we would not have saved the Southern Isles. Without Wrath, we would not be here. That's partially true. But Talon did say to her, and I did agree with him on this, do not diminish your role in saving the Southern Isles. And I 100% agree with her. I 100% agree with him there. Because yes, do not get me wrong, Wrath played a key role in saving them. He helped her in saving them. However, she did a lot of work. She was the one fighting. Yes, she had the strength of a god, but not everyone that has the strength of a god will be able to use it properly. She had the skill. It's not just you just don't need strength. You need the skill, the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge to be able to utilize that strength to do and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And I agree with Talon there. Do not diminish yourself. Do not diminish your role in this. Do not diminish what you as a person, Lily, accomplished. And I totally agree with him on that, actually. I'm not going to lie. Yes, as I said, he played a key role, Wrath, but Lily played an equal role, if not more of a role. So that was something that actually I just remembered that I want to talk about, that I actually liked out of that argument with Lily and Talon on saving Wrath that he brought up, and I 100% agree with him on that. But anyway, as I said, really love this. This I would give a 9 out of 10. I would give this a 9 out of 10, a 4.5 out of 5, 9 out of 10. Loved it. My favorite book out of the entire Death series, Lily's POV. Loved it. I don't know when the last book is coming up, but I'm very excited. I shall be looking forward to it. I'm thinking it's probably going to come out next month because Penelope Barsetti has a new series coming out in March. I am fed. She keeps feeding me and I love it. I love it. Anyone that has read the book, what did you think? If you've read the series, what do you think about the series? Are you excited for the final chapter, the final book of the series? And I'm looking forward to the next book by Penelope Barsetti. So yes, if you've enjoyed my review, please subscribe. Yeah, thanks for listening to me and catch you all later.